Are you looking to engrave on stuff? Then this might be it for you. This is a budget laser from Ortur called Aufero. And I say budget because they also make other lasers like the Ortur Laser 2 Pro. But if you make stuff out of wood, leather, acrylic or paper, you can use a laser engraver to customize it. This one comes in a small box, and when you buy this machine you can choose from 3 different laser modules, which I'll be getting into more later. But they made this very easy for you. You simply unbox it, attach the laser head and you're good to go. Well, not really, because you need a software as well. I use Lightburn, which is a paid software, but they do have a trial version if you want to try it out. You can simply drag and drop an image or an SVG into the program and you can hit run. Well, you need to do some settings first. And that all depends on what type of laser module you're using, and this might be the hardest part of using a laser, because it's kind of a bit of trial and error until you figure out the correct settings. Thankfully, Ortur supplies you with the suggested speeds and power settings that you can use to try it out. So you have it all set up, you're good to go, but what do you want to do? So there are these different laser modules. This is the LU2-2, it's a 1.6 watt laser. It doesn't offer much power, but then again it offers a lot of detail. It has a 0.07, 0.06 laser dot, which means it will leave you a very detailed engrave. But this one, however, can't do any cutting. The LU2-4 long focus one is the one to get if you want to do some cutting. With this one, they supply you with an air nozzle, which means you can attach an air compressor and have air assist. And cutting with an air assist leaves you a much nicer result than without it. With that said, it doesn't mean you can't engrave using this one. It has a 0.17 by 0.25 laser dot. And supposedly it's between 4.5 to 5.5 watt. Now the short focus one is also 4.5 to 5.5 watt, which means it's basically the same power as this one, but this one is actually made to engrave. Comes with this magnetic shield. Compared to the long focus one, this has a smaller laser dot. Since this is as strong as the long focus one, you could potentially do some cutting with this as well. But then again, you can't attach the air assist to this one. Now the price differs depending on what type of laser module you get, so check out the prices on Ortur's website. The long focus and the engrave laser module have this shield that you can attach to it instead of this magnetic one. And for focus, you basically use the same method as the Ortur Laser 2 Pro. They have this small aluminium rod that you put beneath the laser module. You lower the laser module until it hits and then you lock it in place. Now for the short focus version, they actually supply you with this acrylic that you put underneath the laser module, and that gives you the distance to your material. So this unit is actually half the size of the Ortur Laser 2 Pro. The engrave area is 180 millimeters by 180 millimeters. And it also runs half the speed of the Laser 2 Pro at 5,000 millimeters a minute. The unit itself is pretty lightweight. The legs are made of acrylic, and that is a really good feature since you can move this around, place it on top of whatever you're engraving, and you're good to go. There are of course some safety features. They supply you with these glasses that you should wear at all times. If you bump the machine, it will actually cut the laser, or if you disconnect it from the computer or from the electricity, it will also cut the laser. A lot of people tend to build enclosures and using some kind of exhaust to get rid of the fumes, but you can also use this in a well-ventilated area. Now, of course, I did some testing. At first, I started by cutting some chess pieces using the long focus one without air assist, and the pieces were cut in 3mm plywood and they look pretty good. And with some sanding, you can remove the burn marks. I also tried cutting some coasters, and as you can see here, I did one without the air assist and one with the air assist, and you can see a huge difference. I also did the same test with 2mm leather, and with the air assist it cuts really nice and engraves as well. Without the air assist, however, the leather is really charred and unusable. I did a quick test engraving images on the plywood that they supply you with the machine, and the result looks really good. But then again, with images you can play around with the settings to get a really good result. I also tried marking metal, and stainless steel works perfectly, and also anodized aluminium, and that I did with the short focus version, but it would also work with the long focus, of course. I also tried engraving on ceramic tile, and this one was black and left a white, nice surface. So my final thoughts. This machine is perfect for engraving stuff. If you don't plan to do anything bigger than 180 millimeters square, you don't really need anything bigger than this. But if you want to do some cutting, it can do it as well. And the main feature of this machine, I would say, is the mobility, the flexibility of choosing your own laser module. There's almost nothing to assemble except attaching the laser module. I was a bit worried by the strength of this arm, but from using it, I haven't seen any issues with it at all. I did check it for square, and it was really square, but if it isn't, you can loosen these screws and use a square to actually tighten it in place. And if you want to attach the laser to something, they do supply you with L brackets that can be used with the holes in the acrylic feet. Full disclosure, Ortur sent me this machine to try it out, but I'm allowed to say whatever I want, which I do, otherwise there would be no use in trying it out. If I were to choose one of the laser modules, I would probably go with the long focus version. I think it leaves a great detail in engraving, and you have the option of actually cutting stuff. But then again, you also have the option of cutting stuff with the short focus version, only it doesn't have the air assist. Now, if your only intention is engraving and not engraving on steel, of course, the cheapest version will do you just as good. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.